Okay, let's talk about this fat loss journey. No filters, what's been working well, what have I been struggling with, and actually what you could probably do if you are on a similar journey that you do not have to waste any time on. Now, if you haven't already been following, the last time I did a proper transformation was actually in 2022, which was 3 years ago. It took me about a year and a half before I kind of transformed into a different journey, but now I am back. Now, we are going to call this a bit of a comeback, or something that I mentioned was from mum to model as a reinvention kind of 2.0, as I haven't been on this journey for such a long time. And we are finishing this journey with a photo shoot. Not that I'll be in any model kind of physique by that point, but I think it's a really good way of adding urgency to your goal. And I really do not want to be doing fat loss for a full year. So we gave ourselves 4 months, and to this date, we literally have 73 days left to go. I think first things first, what's actually supporting me to get to this goal, and how am I able to kind of turn up for myself, and what I'm kind of doing that's working really well for me. If you are on your journey yourself, this hopefully can help you. Now, the initial goal was to aim for a 10 kilogram loss over 4 months, which is fairly big for me because I've not actually been in the 70 kilograms bracket for a very long time. And I was actually in my early 20s when I hit that. So I don't know how realistic this will be, considering I'm a different shape now and I have different priorities now, but I think that was just a goal that I set myself to kind of aim for, to give me something to kind of like quantify and like count down to, so I can kind of stick to a bit of a plan. And so far, so good. We are now in the 83s bracket. The goal is to get to 77. And I haven't actually been in the 83s since May 2023. So a good 2 years ago. My weight is fluctuating, as you can see, which is very, very normal, especially if you haven't got tons to lose. But also, because I'm trying to create a bit of a routine, there's obviously going to be days that are going to be higher, mistakes are going to be made, bad days are going to crop up, and that's not something that I want to hide from this journey. I really want to share that actually, coach or not, like I'm exactly the same as all of my clients in that I still get really frustrated with the scales, despite the fact that we talk about fat loss quite often and how we don't always rely on the scales. But I have still given myself a scale weight goal, which sounds a bit counterintuitive, but I really want to be able to quantify this goal basically. So the goals that I've set myself that I think has really, really helped just take some steps and take away that kind of decision fatigue for myself, which obviously, if you're a mum, you do not want to be thinking about all the time, is setting myself a non-negotiable step target. Now, I believe that this is something that a lot of people should be implementing, because it allows yourself to really just focus on one goal rather than like, right, calories, workout, steps, trying to give 100% all the time to everything can just lead you to a bit of burnout. And something that we talk about a lot with our clients as well is that every day is going to look different. 100% will always look a bit different every day. Obviously, we do a lot in terms of support. How are we supporting ourselves and setting ourselves up for success? But I think a lot of it is sometimes just quite overwhelming. So setting myself a non-negotiable step target was one of the things that I knew I would increase my expenditure. So helping me kind of hit that deficit to help me drop fat. But also just give myself one thing that I need to aim for every single day without fail, a bare minimum. Like kind of like a plan C is something that we talk about with our ladies. But in January, we set 12,000 because I was always sort of flitting between 7 and 10. We set 12,000, which I actually smashed and I was really, really proud of. So this February, we've set 15,000. I'm going to be honest, there have been times where it's almost like 10, 11 o'clock at night and I've not hit my steps. And I'm literally walking around the house on my walking pad at like 11 o'clock at night, trying to just hit that target, which I'll be honest, has been a bit like exhausting at times because I just have not set myself up for the day. And unfortunately, as a mum, that's pretty inevitable. Like if he's had a bad night's sleep and we've woke up late, it can always have this kind of domino effect that ends up with me kind of running out of time, which is obviously quite tough at times. But nonetheless, setting a non-negotiable target has been really, really helpful for me to just give that one focus. The second goal that I've kind of set to kind of support me in this journey as well is cutting back on liquid calories. I think I've mentioned this a lot on my Instagram. If you haven't already, definitely follow because we do some more updates. But I've actually completely cut out alcohol. Now, initially we were going to go for the 4 months, which is until the end date, but we've actually now extended this to a full year just to see the full benefits. So any social now, anytime I see my friends, I literally just stick to diet drinks and sometimes mocktails if it's that type of night, which allows me to not have to think about obviously the hunger that comes from alcohol after, the sleepless night that you get obviously post alcohol because it doesn't disrupt your sleep. But also I'm saving so many calories on alcohol, which obviously doesn't really give you anything back. The other one is actually coffees, because one of the things that I used to always do to kind of get me out of the house to get my walks in, and this is something I definitely did in my first transformation, go and reward myself with a nice coffee. But unfortunately, with these sort of chain coffee restaurants, the calories were so high and actually never really satiated me, of course. But these drinks were like 300-400 calories. And although it was a great reward to start that walking habit, over time, and especially in this transformation, it is something that I have cut out because I really want to get all of my calories from my food. So I'm nice and satiated and not hangry, especially as a mum, not a good look. And lastly, the other thing that I've adjusted that I've found has just really worked for me to kind of keep hunger at bay and kind of keep that adherence there, which is obviously needed for a fat loss journey, is tweaking my lunches. So before, I would do anything that was kind of quick on the go. So I always kind of lent on, Maggie bags or like chicken in wraps or chicken in pittas, which, don't get me wrong, are amazing, especially on the go. However, because I'm working from home, I was like, why am I always doing these like quick on the go options when I can have something a little bit bigger at home? So I've actually changed this to a big Nourish bowl, which I have found has helped me so much. And bearing in mind, these are exactly the same calories, but it allows me to not only have more energy, but I'm fuller for longer, which allows me to kind of cut out that 3 p.m. slump where I'm starting to get really hungry. It kind of overlaps that, which has really, really helped me kind of just stick to calories and therefore obviously start to see results. If you are on your journey and you are a mum like me, something that's really, really worked in kind of line with that nutrition one is what we call the ABC plan, and something that we implement a lot of our clients. And it just kind of takes the pressure off a little bit, because I find that, myself included, if you cannot be plan A 100% all the time, a lot of people just scrap it. There's no kind of backup, there's no B or C. It's just like, if I can't be perfect, I'm not doing it at all. And there's a lot of guilt behind that. And especially if the scale weight fluctuates, which is so normal, you can kind of blame those reasons and kind of look back and be like, oh, it's because I wasn't 100%. And actually, this is where we see a lot of progress take place, when people can turn up 100% and the next day maybe 80. Some days that are going to be really hard, just even putting 10%, just taking that action instead of waiting for occasional perfection can really, really help move progress forward and kind of break down that overwhelm. So obviously I'm implementing it with my own journey. Obviously I am aiming for that plan A all the time, but your plan B, which is kind of the backup where you're not quite 100% but you're still taking action, is perhaps you didn't get a food shop in, perhaps you didn't meal prep, or you didn't have time for a workout, and you go, okay, well, what can I do? And it's very much about kind of just controlling the controllables. So setting yourself up for success and making sure that you've got a backup that you can use, i.e. I've prepped some chicken, thank God. I can't quite have my Nourish bowl today, but actually I can maybe have some wraps on the go if, I've run out of time. Or even a workout. I can't quite get to the gym for that full hour, but maybe I could do a quick 30 minutes at home with these dumbbells. Allows ourselves to kind of break that all or nothing mentality, that perfectionism that sometimes keeps us stuck. And then plan C, which I think is sometimes, just as a mum, inevitable, where you're kind of on the go, rushing out the door, your stress is high and you haven't really prepped anything or supported yourself, and the bare minimum is all you can sort of do. So that plan C is, okay, well, I know what I'm going to buy when I'm on the go, either from a shop or even from a drive-through, that's going to still be goal conducive, satiate me and give me energy so I can still do the bare minimum. Now, I think if you're someone like me and lots of the ladies that work with us who feel like unless it's 100%, it's nothing, then this plan A, B, and C can really help just keep that consistency there, even if it is imperfect, because that is where you'll see amazing results. And that is something that I've been implementing a lot with my journey, and having that backup kind of just removes that panic, that guilt when I do have an off kind of plan A day, you know? So that's what's been working really well. That's how I've been kind of supporting myself and the goals that I've kind of put in place. I also have some other targets that I aim for that obviously support the big goal. Of course, I'm aiming for 10 kilogram loss. Obviously, I've got the step goal in place and we've got obviously the photo shoot coming up. But these are some of the goals that I've written down at the start of the year that's going to be the dominoes, shall we say. That is the ones that align the dominoes that kind of support me to kind of hit the bigger goals. So this is what I kind of opt to aim for. Obviously, every day looks a little bit different, but that's kind of what's supporting me as well. And maybe you can hopefully take some inspiration from that. So that is where I'm at right now. Some struggles, some wins, and the structure that I'm kind of putting in place with a few strategies that obviously we use for our successes and our clients, that I'm obviously just kind of practicing what I'm preaching. And if you are on your own fat loss journey, let me know in the comments, maybe a win for the week, or even a struggle that you maybe need some help with that hopefully we can do a video on in the future. And if you like this video, then don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, or if not, follow us on Instagram, where we do share a lot more updates and also tips to help you keep on track. And I will hopefully see you on the next one. Bye.